Hello, I like it to be here today. Also, some face that I had in other meetings. I'm happy to see. And today we're gonna talk about Angular 17. But before to start, I want to ask you, how many of you are using Angular in production right now? Wh- Which version are you using? 16. Okay. And the other hand, let's see there. 15, nice. Like us. Perfect. That's so nice because nowadays the people think, okay, Angular is changing a lot, but in the market, when you go, most of the people are using Angular 14, 15. Some company are using 10. I hope not too much. But before to start to talk about Angular 17, I want to give a small overview about the history about Angular and how they works to become and release the version 17 and see what's happening. So before to start, my name is Danny Paredes. I am Angular GDE, technical writer for Telerik and also Google. And of course, I'm part of Innoit. I write content in my blog, dannybos.com. That is not important. Important is Angular. Okay. Did you say at the beginning, I say I love the MBA. If you join to another talks by me, you know that I use a lot of GIF about MBA. You know that? So I want to tell you, at the beginning, when we start to use JavaScript, we have three good players. We have good memories with jQuery. For me, jQuery is like Jordan. But of course, Jordan is not playing anymore, right? Okay, so we have good memories about that framework. That framework allowed us to create a lot of application fast, but the maintenance is not easy or a little bit complex. So when jQuery get out, I need to trust in another player, right? So we trust in, of course, AngularJS. Maybe some of you doesn't know, but Angular was the first framework based in component. I know that when the people say, oh, what is first framework? I remember the beginning of Angular was crazy for me. It was like, oh my God, we can build application faster. But other players appears in that time. I don't want to mention, of course. Of course. But during that time, I want to do a small recap. In the 2016, we got Angular 2 that was forget Angular JS, embrace the TypeScript. And the people in that time, they say, oh, TypeScript, this sucks. Not sucks, because most of the framework now are using TypeScript. We released Angular 4, okay, because the 3, where it's going? No problem. We trust in Angular. And on top of that, during that time, we released more versions, the 5, the 6, and the 7 and 8. Can you remember a nice feature that you say right now, wow, well, that's a game changer in the version 6 or 5? No, the version 4 brings with the HTTP client, the guards, that's what very helpful. But the next version was like, don't impact the market right now. But then during this time, the player that appears really learned very good from Angular. And he take the advantage of that in the market. You know that. Because if you read the message clear, that player, the blue player, is really the change of the market. He changed the market. We know that. So Angular say, okay, no problem, you change the market, but we are LeBron, we are the kings. So no problem, we teach you at the beginning. So we trust in Ivy. Okay, Ivy take a little bit more time than we expected, no problem. But we include type checking and OIT. And in the version 10 to the 13, we work very hard to improve and establish the core of Angular. But I want to be transparent. In version 14 was the first version of Angular, from my point of view, that I feel that they heard the community. They start listening. They open some requests for comment where the people can tell the Angular what they want to for the future, because uh, maybe, or my feelings is the new joiners, they don't like to, or they don't feel comfortable playing with Angular. They just want to create a component and render. And the Angular learning curve is a little bit higher because you need to learn a lot of topics. But the people that have application with more than 5 or 8 years, for me, it's very comfortable to use modules. And for me, it's not a big problem to use RxJS. But when I try to explain to my son what is RxJS, was a little bit sad because it takes time to learn. And I know most of the new developers that come to the market, they just want to create an application, and you want to use the tools when you really need. So in the version 12, we got a standard alone. For me, it was a very nice feature. Here in the version 15, we got the composition API. From my point of view, the best feature that Angular did. And also we got signals, iteration in preview, and we start to take a little bit away from Webpack, doing some labs with SBuild and Vite. Okay, so Angular heard the community. They know the people want to code fast. They don't want to spend too much time to just build a small application. So I need to tell you that Angular released the version 70. They changed the logo, but this is not only the change. That is very nice, the logo. I have some slide for you. I would like, if some of you knows a nice feature that you like it for the version 16 or the version 17, please raise your hand. I will give you a sticker. Okay, Fireship. I don't know how you are registered in Fireship. This is top guy for you stay updated in 5 seconds what's happening in the market, in the development. He said the Angular bad with the vengeances. I can tell you this is true because I know we have short time today, but we have some features to talk today. So that's too many change, but not change because we are not creating Angular from zero. We are here in the community and give to the community what really they want. So let's start with the new homepage, angular.dev. If you go to angular.io, this is not the best website for find. I feel sometimes lost when I try to find some documentation. Also, Webpack have with us too much time. But if you are playing with Vue, with React, or other frameworks, they are not using Webpack. So Angular now support Vite and ESBuild to fast the building. And also in the past release, Angular released a small extension. You can debug your application, but now they support dependency injection, debugging. Most of you, when you use an inject decorator and need to find which the token of that injector, is not easy to debug. In the new version, only for version 17, they have that feature. So the new website, of course, they have a new website with new documentation. They have a sandbox where you can play with Angular without install the CLI in your machine. So if you want to test Angular again, because you can test again, you can go to the website and play with Angular there. Also, we have SBuild. You can make your application building so fast. I write content for Telerik. I have a small application, medium-sized application that I built 3 months ago. And when I rebuild again in Angular 17, I got crazy about the numbers. So if you want to test that point, I highly recommend. Also, the debugging tools. This is something that I wish to have that for version 15 or 16, because this is that version that we have in our company. But now when you need to see what is the injector that you have for that service and where it's coming from, now Angular can do that only for version 17. Okay, what's more? I know that most of you maybe are waiting for the fair, and because it's the most trending topic, but now I want to show you some feature that most of people is not talking too much, because the defer is everywhere, or the new syntax, yeah, it's nice, but we have other things to show. For example, the input transform. For me, this is very helpful when you have a component that only that he need to pass up object, but for example, you have an interface that have a contract, but you don't want to expose that contract, so you can say, hey, no, please give me that structure that inside my component I will to transform to match to my contract. Also, the trending topic, new syntax, add, if, else. Now, no more directive. We're going to use the similar directive, or the similar way like other frameworks are doing. That is something, from my point of view, will help a lot the Angular the people will start to coding with Angular. They don't feel like, oh, why is not like React or not like Svelte? Now it's the same. And also, you don't need to import anymore the ngIf or ngFor in your standalone component if you are using. Also, the async animation that by default now is loading. So, sorry, I'm going a little bit faster, but I don't know how I'm going with the time. But I know it are too many features to show. So now you have here, okay, perfect. You have that way in the input. You have Angular provide for you that kind of transformation, like number attribute or Boolean attribute, and he can transform your value from your component to Boolean or number. Or you can build your own transform. That is my example. Here I have a schedule module that is something from Kendo. And here I need to transform the array of the book course to I need to transform to this function that is here, and that function will to transform to one event schedule interface. So I don't need to expose some interface from or some type from my inputs. Also, if you see here, no more bracket for binding. Yeah, you say, maybe other framework do that. Yeah, but now we are doing, and we are doing very good. So, what more? ngIf, ngElse. For sure, I'm one of the guys that every time that I'm a little bit confused, sometimes I need to go to the documentation. We have that code that, for me, they have more than, I don't know how many years playing with Angular. It's normal, but for one people from React or other framework that comes to work with Angular, his job is in Angular, he feels not comfortable. Also, with the switch, oh my God, the switch is. Now we have add, if, else. That's it. No complex. It's easy. The same with the switch. I think I don't need to explain that slide. You can understand. Perfect. Also, they provide animation async to make a little bit faster your bundle size when you start the application. Yeah, more features. We have the lifecycle hooks in developer preview. We have server-side render. We have signals. Time? Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we have now new lifecycle hook in preview that we will allow to us to render some like hooks when the view render for the first time or the last time that the DOM has been hydrated. This is in preview that is released now in the 17th. Also, we have the server-side rendering, and that is something important because, from my point of view, Angular did very well his work with server-side rendering. Angular was created for create single-page application. I don't know how many of you are using or try to use Angular server-side with the way. It's not easy. You need to you need to install one package for Express, and the configuration is very, very painful. Now, Angular, when you start your CLI and create a new application, that start by default, they ask to you if you want to create with SR, or if you already have your application and want to add later, you just need to run that command. It's one single package and easy to configure. Okay, signals. This is a huge topic that I feel sad that only we have short time to talk about, but signal is, for my point of view, another game changer for Angular. Why? Because when a new developer start to work with Angular and need to make a small HTTP request and need to react to a small change, you need to say, hey, you need an observable, and you need a behavior subject, and you need a subject, and you know that you need to subscribe for the, you must to unsubscribe from the subject. But if a HTTP client that return observable, you don't need to unsubscribe. So you don't know when the hell you need to unsubscribe. So it's not easy for when people start to play with Angular and RxJS. And Signal is a very easy API for create reactive application in Angular. That doesn't mean that Angular will deprecate or remove RxJS. Rex is in the heart of Angular. You have the reactive forms. You are still having the HTTP client full embrace with the observables or RxJS. So the key point here is you only need to start use RxJS when you really need. Because RxJS is so powerful when you need to, for example, start a HTTP request, but you want to cancel that request. It's very easy with observables. With signals, you have a single API that you declare signals with a type, and you have the method set to set the value and update to update the value. That's it. If you want to react to some change, you can create a computer. They have other types like effect, but still now in they switch back again to developer preview. So we need to take a time to start to play with that. But if you want to start to play with signals, it's a good time to do that. So what is the next? Okay, we need to talk about server-side rendering, but we need to talk about the deferred, the styles, the pre-connect image directive that is so powerful right now, the testing, and of course the effect in developer preview, and also the iteration. I don't have a slide about the defer because when the people told me, hey, only 25 minutes, I say, let me to reduce the amount of slide. But the defer for me is a nice way for you optimize your application. We have lazy loading right now, but it's not real lazy loading. My friend Besail, that he's here, he said that this is it's a fake because you are not solving the real problem. You only divide the problem in small problems. I don't know how to translate that to English, but it's the best way. But the deferred way or the optimization in Angular with lazy loading, you need to learn about lazy loading strategies. You need to do some hack with add some values in the router data to know if that property comes and know if can load that route. It's not easy. It's very, very not tricky, but takes time for one person that starts to build application. With the defer, we have a single, very similar to the syntax of the ngIf, ng4, and you can declare section that you want to load, and they have some triggers for the defer. For example, you want to one component only load when the user click or when the user go to the viewport, or when some property change his value, then Angular get that tune for that component from the server. But you say, Danny, that sounds for me. Yeah, if you work with Astro or you work with other framework, they have that feature. And Angular knows that this is works and works very well. So why not bring that? That sense. It's not like a big, Astro have that feature, I can't do that. No, if Astro have that feature and other framework, it's like signals. Signals come from Salt.js. Salt.js is created for Ryan Carnato? Ryan Carnato? Ryan Carnato worked with the team in Angular to bring Signal to Angular because it's a best way to make and build reactive application. So we will bring that for us. So we have the same feature of Astro, we have the same feature of Svelte, the syntax, we have the same performance with Signal like Solid, so you don't have a new reason to don't play with Angular. So yeah, it's too much thing to learn, and of course, I am not expert in every topic. Of course, I have a family. I work with Besael, and I need time to learn every feature. My advice is embrace the community. I don't have too much time to learn every single, but of course, Rainer Hanekamp, he explained to me about some point about the signals. Or Besael, he released some new article about how to work with Angular 17. Dmitry Misensky, he's create very good content about Angular and some feature that I didn't have time to learn. So my advice is go to the community, for example, watch video from other content creators, learn from that, and maybe, as Mitri said a few minutes ago, or you, maybe you can be here in next event giving a talk about some feature about Angular. Like me, I'm no expert. I'm a guy that takes time to learn something. But you can do the same like me. So that's it. Any question? Two questions. Or if don't have question, I have a slide for some of you. A slide now. Stickers of Angular. So yeah, go ahead. And mic for the guy. Yeah. Well, if I know, I can answer. If no, we can Google it. Nice question, because you have a product now working with RxJS. Your team already know RxJS. Your team, the team that you have, he knows RxJS. He feels comfortable using RxJS. If you don't have a big reason to move away to RxJS, because RxJS is continue to be part. Keep in mind, Signal is good for binding from your service to react to a sync task. But when you start to working with HTTP request that you do a lot, or maybe you do a sync task, his works, but of course the API. I need to be transparent with you. I am playing with Signal for more than 4 or 5 months in beta version, and now they release the update and set, but they changed the public API to deprecated the mutate function. So my recommendation is start to play with that, keeping watching what's happening, and maybe in the future, if you already have your product right now, you can see, but you don't have a big reason right now. But if, for example, if he asked me, hey Danny, I want to create a to-do application that need to do a small request to the API, I want to react some change. I would say don't try to do that with RxJS because he will go crazy. I say do with Signal because it's easy for him. So keep in mind something. If you use Signals, it's because you are doing as application that you have in control. But when the things come grow, most of the people, what are using? Some of them use state management. This is a huge topic, of course, because most people say you don't need state management, but maybe you didn't. So my recommendation is keep in RxJS. Don't rush your team. That's it. I have a sticker for you. Other question?
Simple one. At the beginning, you wrote something Angular GDE. What's that?
Okay.
A course or
Yeah, this is Angular. This is a recognition that Google do for their work with the community. It's not that I'm a really expert. I don't know every line of Angular.
it's a certificate? It's not a
No, it's not a
certificate.
certification. It's like a promotion or something that Google gives to you because you are doing a work with the community, give talk, and that's it. It's something.
Like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
Like a badge, no?
like a badge. That's it. Okay. No more question? Oh, go ahead, tira. Sí. Sí, sigue siendo compatibles. O sea, un buen punto. Angular se compromete y se sigue comprometiendo con background compatibility. Los módulos no desaparecen, siguen estando ahí. Los módulos son bastante útiles cuando tú tienes una aplicación muy grande. Sí, y la directiva sigue funcionando. El único tema es que Composition API, por ejemplo, Composition API solamente funciona con Standalone Directive. O sea, todos los features nuevos vienen para Standalone. Pues tú puedes seguir utilizando tus versiones ahí, tranquilo. O empujar a la empresa para que... Sí, sigue funcionando todo igual. El único tema es que los nuevos features están, en la mayoría de los casos, para Standalone. Vale.
¿Cómo trabajarían los signals junto con los RxJS?
Buena pregunta, aunque vamos un poquito más de tiempo. Si quiere hacerme más preguntas o you want to make another question about Angular when we finish the talk, we can continue. I can tell you.
Yeah, but finish it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Angular provide a Rx interrupt because, of course, like he said, we have a lot of application with observable right now, and Angular provide a package like Rx interrupt when you have two functions, like to signal and to observables. To signals allow you to convert to signal, observable to signal, and to observable, switch back the observable to signal. So easy because, of course, we have a lot of applications that need to do that. That's it.
So as in basketball, if you have a question in basketball, if you shoot the ball, even if the ball is the time finishes, you need to see if it goes in or not. So
Yeah.
So a big round of applause.
Thank you.